The other
And
term I
any,
hear getting thrown around a lot that I think we should probably talk about is you hear zero trust, right? What does that actually mean? How does that play in with this? Because people just throw it out and then they're like, "What does that mean?" And how do you
yeah,
actually implement that? So, anyone have thoughts on that?
yeah. I mean, we certainly don't want to get into the technical nuance of the five pillars of zero trust and really kind of what those are, because that could be a day long conversation in and of itself. But it's really just a network architecture, right, or a methodology that allows you to put yourself in a position where you have to verify the authenticity of everything that connects into your environment, right? The user, the device, the network, the application workloads, the data itself. So I said I wasn't going to do the five pillars, and then there we went and did them. Um, but I'm working on like a probably a stupid blog post on the side, right? But kind of equating zero trust to airport security, right? To put it in terminology that kind of everybody can understand. Once you go through that TSA checkpoint, you are now a trusted traveler. So you can navigate the full length of the terminal. You can jump on your flight. If you have a connecting flight, guess what? You don't get to airport number 2 and have to go back through security again. You're already through and you're cleared because you are trusted and verified in the system. So that idea now just applies to how our people are connecting to their resources and doing their work. And again, the more we can do, so we've talked about zero trust and we talk about like edge computing, right? That's kind of the new catch-all term for client side stuff. How can we diminish the security risks of the edge and make those less of a threat through zero trust with something like desktop to have those gates in place, right? So, the airport security thing is once you log into your DaaS seat and you do that with multi-factor authentication and or single sign-on and or identity management, you are now through that TSA checkpoint, right?
I think, Autumn, that speaks to you potentially maybe not covered in the report is some of the complexity of delivering something like that, in the sense that Kevin was referring to, because like everything in this world is customer A has these two programs or has this security company that they're already having a relationship with that's different than company B and thus company C. And so for me and that's what, again, I think if you move up the stack and people probably need to try and reference a little bit more is for us, I think it's the ability to, take all those different end vendors and guarantee, security in totality across the platforms of the application network, et cetera. And when you think of, how the dichotomy of those, of how the report defines it is, I don't think it goes into really defining that, really doing it across multiple organizations. And I think to me, sometimes the report was really myopic in this is how a single customer would leverage some of these services. And I think at the end of the day is we have, 1,000 snowflakes. Thus, we have to understand how to build layer upon layer with these different technologies seamless. And I think to me is that's the other reason that, you need someone that at the end of the day understands that and can put that all together, because otherwise what works for customer A is not going to work for customer B. And I think that deriving that from, some of the, what I'll call SaaS offerings today just won't get there. And Scott talked about that. Microsoft has a great entrance in with the cloud PC, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be able to allow Kevin to build a solution that has, the zero trust capabilities.